Hello, hello. I am going to be starting my IG Live for Black entrepreneurs where you come in, you can ask me marketing questions, branding questions, and general business questions. And I'm going to start off with a few questions that I received from other people. But before I even get into that, I want to once again remind that while I think black economics are super important and business is important, of course, life is more important. My thing is, I believe that there's a difference between surviving and thriving. And I want us to start chasing a world where we're thriving. And yes, economics is not going to change it all. However, I feel it's going to do more than any other thing because it can sponsor us to be able to do other things. It can sponsor our freedom to be able to enact change and to be able to keep on protesting and be able to push and lobby and things like that. So that's why I push for that, and that's why I'm doing this for all my black entrepreneurs and people who are thinking about entrepreneurship. So please, this is not about me, this is about you. So ask questions. But let me jump into some of the questions that I did receive. All right. So I want to start off with, I think this is some people, this is kind of basic, but uh, I before I even get to questions, let me define marketing for most people because most people overlook marketing, right? And actually don't know what marketing is comprised of. So marketing is made up of something called the four P's. So that stands for price, promotion, product, and placement, right? And most people are most familiar with promotion, right? That's your advertising, that's your Google ads, your Facebook ads, your Instagram ads, things you see there. However, I think the most important part of marketing is actually product, right? It starts off with creating something that people want and people can afford to buy, right? The people who want it can afford to buy. So it always starts off with that. So don't always jump straight into marketing. Jump off with figuring out creating a product or having a service that people want to buy. All right. Now, the next question I have is, so when is it good to start marketing yourself? I think it's great to start marketing from the day you have the idea. You don't even have to have the product. Hello, Bocho and Sasha, how you doing? I don't even think you have to have the product first. I believe it's great to start marketing early so you can have demand beforehand. Because it's even better, you can have the people on a wait list and have orders coming in. Because one of the things that kills businesses the most is that they don't have enough demand, they don't have enough cash flow. And so while I'm going and I'm answering people's questions, please ask your own questions in here and I will respond to them. And if you want to jump on live and tell me a little bit about your business and tell me and ask me a question about your business or something you're doing, please feel free to send in a request or text in your question because I really want to get to know you guys and talk to you. This isn't one of my webinars, my seminars. This is a pure Q&A. I'm here to answer questions and hopefully help you get to the next level with your business. All right? Okay, so with that said, where was I? I believe I was, so marketing. I think it's best to just start getting out there and promoting your product, right? Promoting your service and letting people know you exist because nobody can buy from you if they're not aware. So there's there's an acronym my team knows. I say to everybody on my team, ADA, 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 ADA. So ADA stands for awareness, interest, decision, action, right? So before, that's the sales funnel, the marketing funnel. So before somebody can even make a purchase, they have to know that you exist, right? They have to know that you're selling a product, right? So you have to allow people to know that you exist. Put it out in the world, right? Let people know. Let people know you're doing this. Let people know that you have a product or service that you're trying to sell. And that can be something as simple as starting an Instagram page, a Facebook page, promoting it that way. Or it can be where you're running ads or doing something similar, putting it out on a blog, asking a friend to repost. Marketing doesn't always have to be you're paying for somebody. It can be something, a banner that you're putting outside, but putting yourself out there and making it known that you creating a product or a service or something like that. All right. There's so many entrepreneurs that started without ads and they just started, they posted something out there and people, even before they were selling, they created something, they didn't plan to sell it, but somebody started asking them where they got it from. And instead of saying, hey, I got it from this, they actually said, I made it because they made it. So that's a great thing for you to do. Now, as I'm doing, does anyone have any questions? I haven't seen any questions yet, so I'm going to continue with the questions that are in my. I'm going to continue with the questions over here. But I wanted to know if anybody had any questions as I continue answering these questions that was in my inbox and that I received by text message and things like that. Okay, so one thing that I'm going to touch upon is what is content marketing, right? That's a hot phrase. A lot of people are talking about content marketing. So content marketing is consistently producing content that is valuable and engaging that will eventually lead to sales, right? So it can be your tips that you're promoting on your blog. It can be a digital book. It can be a manual. It can be a PDF. Anything, but it's about being consistently putting that out there and using valuable content creation to create sales, right? And most people think of it as organic reach marketing. I don't think that's necessarily correlated, but I think a lot of people think of it that way. So I have a question from a Bocho. When I first started, my mom said, yes, okay, that's not a question. Yeah, set up Instagram with the clothes. And I see what you and your mom do, right? With the masks you're producing, you put it on there and people have been asking and you've been getting a lot of orders. I think you guys are over, well, I'm not going to put out your numbers, but you're doing good numbers. You're doing good numbers and you're helping the community. So I'm not going to say what numbers you're doing, but you're doing good numbers and you're helping the community. Okay. When branding from Dr. DMD. All right. When branding, do you post on personal or business page? Both. Both. Well, actually, I'm going to take a step back. So my question to you is, what are you branding, right? And so when a product is different, a little bit different, but with a service, it usually is a reflection of yourself too. So you have to look at, okay, if it's a service, if I'm a doctor, it's going to be both on my personal page and my business page, right? Because I'm letting people know these are the types of surgeries I do. This is the type of things I diagnose. These are my services. So you're branding both at the same time. And at the beginning, what you're going to use, you're going to leverage your personal brand, your personal certifications, your personal accomplishments, and you're going to use that. Brand is reputation, right? You're going to transfer that, your personal brand, into your company, right? And so eventually you can hopefully get more leverage out of your company, but you're going to use the leverage from your personal brand to make the company rise, right? And eventually what will happen is you'll start seeing the leverage from the company making your personal brand rise. So it becomes symbiotic eventually. But I would say you do want to you want to post both on your personal and your business page. However, I think on your business page, you want to be more focused, right? You're not posting personal stuff. You're creating a content strategy and a content calendar that will enable you. How you doing, Omar? That will enable you to plan out what you're posting and why you're posting it, so people can see it, people can engage. It's consistent. Branding is about being clear and consistent, right? Clear and consistent for your reputation, so people understand who you are, what you do, and then they know when to call on you, right? You're developing that trust. So that's what I'll say with branding. You'll do it on both, especially as a doctor, you do that both, but eventually you're trying to focus on your business. If you want to separate your personal, you can, but you want to leverage both as long as possible, depending on what you feel is success, right? What you feel is success. So that's what I'll say you do for branding, right? And even to touch on branding, I'm going to touch on that a lot because most people actually don't know what branding is or what branding consists of. And really it's a triangle, right? There are three aspects of branding that you're competing upon. So one is quality, right? Are you are you the highest quality? Another is price. And then the third is speed. You can't really do all three, right? You can do 2 out of 3, you can do 1 out of 3. It's really hard to do all three because if you have quality and speed, you're probably super expensive. So you're not competing on price, right? So once you have more than one of the triangle effects, the third one, so you really can do up to 2. I haven't really seen many companies do 3 well. Some people may argue that Amazon does 3, but then you have to define what is quality to you, right? Amazon's not having super premium products on it. So that's what I'll say. So is a content calendar always necessary? It's not necessary, but it's going to make you way more efficient and effective. So it's going to allow you to plan out. I don't know how far you are on your journey, but a content calendar is going to allow you to plan and know what you're doing ahead. So you're not thinking every day, oh gosh, what do I have to put up now? What do I have to put on now? You can really even set your month up in a couple, 2, 3 days. You can set up, curate all your content, put that together, and have it planned out so you know what you're posting on what day. And using various tools, you can push it to some of the social media platforms. So that can help you not worry about what you're putting out natively and organically, and then you're more worried about focused outreach, focusing on customer interactions, paid promotions, things like that. So I'll say it'll make your life so much easier. You're welcome, doctor. So, Bocho, if using your personal page to also brand, should you be careful of how much of your... Yeah, so yes and no. It depends, right? It depends on... So what I say, branding is about consistency, and when you're putting too much of your personal life on it, you're attracting, depending on what you post, you will attract or repel people to follow you, right? So if people are following you because of your personal stuff and then you start putting business stuff on, that may tune some people out, right? And if you put people following you because they want to learn more about your business stuff and you start putting personal stuff, they'll follow because they want to know they're dealing with a real person. They want to know they like it to a certain extent, but there's a sliding scale there, right? When it goes over the edge and some people will tune out from it. Not everyone, but some people will tune out from it. So I'll say you want to be careful how much you should use, but think about it in a tasteful manner. Like I've seen a lot of what you've been doing, Abocho, about your about how you grew up and accomplishments and things like that. I think that's nice because that dovetails into your story, right? That dovetails into your story. So if you're posting personal things that are telling people more about your story, how you got to where you are, I think people appreciate that, and you can do higher levels of that. However, part of the content calendar is figuring out how much you're going to post each specific type of thing, right? So that's what you want to figure out as well. Anyone else with some more questions before I jump into the other questions that I have from before? Let me jump here. Okay. So, a question that we have is, what is the best social media platform to use? I would say, honestly, there's no real answer to that. I'm a big proponent of LinkedIn. If you have a professional type, like business related, when I say business related, if you are doing B2B business, that means business to business. If you're doing professional services, which are your dentist, you are, I would say a lot of, if you're doing a white collar job, even blue collar, you can go there. But for the most part, I would say LinkedIn is great because LinkedIn has amazing organic reach right now. Amazing. And Instagram's probably not going to like me saying this, but LinkedIn has amazing organic reach and you can go viral. I know someone else, we were just talking, he just went viral again. This is the third or fourth time he's gone viral in like the last 12 months. And so I was going through another time. He had 2 million views, 1.7 million views, and then the latest one I think is creeping up to 5 to 10,000 views over the last 24 hours. He literally posted it, I think, yesterday morning. So and that's being on there, putting things out. So I would say be on LinkedIn if it in any way it relates to your business. But you want to pick a platform by one, where are your customers? Are your customers on that platform? Can you interact? Would they allow you to interact with them on that platform? And two, does your message translate to that platform? Does that platform amplify your message, right? So if you're making baked treats or restaurant food, Twitter's hard, right? Because it's visual. So you want a platform that lends itself to visual representation of yourself. So that's what you want to think about. Versus if you are a blogger or a writer, then Twitter may make more sense because that's where blogger writers things get picked up. Your article can circulate much faster, where versus Instagram is more visual oriented and it's harder to post It's very rare that people are going to read a 3-page article on Instagram. So you're thinking about all those things when you are creating the platform that you're focused on. Now, another thing, that question wasn't really asked, but I want to address it. I don't think, especially when you start off with, let's say you're under $150,000, I don't think you should be on more than 1 to 2 platforms. And the reason why I say this is you are going to stretch yourself too thin. You're going to stretch yourself too thin. And you don't want to do that, right? You only have so many resources. You only have so much time. So you want to make sure you are putting that into the platforms that create the best return on income, right? ROI. So that's what I would suggest. While I'm saying this, remember, this is not me going off on spiels. I want all your questions. I'm here to really answer as many as possible. And this is something I'm doing for all of you. So if you have any more questions, don't be shy. I don't believe in stupid questions. We're all learning. We're all on a different part of our journey. And I really want you to be able to ask them here. Afterwards, Instagram doesn't keep this, so I can't even know what questions people asked. Or other people won't see what questions they asked if we do a replay of this. So please feel free to ask your question because somebody else probably has this question, if not now, in the future, right? So that's what I'll say. Please ask your questions. And tell me more, like, what are people doing? Who wants to jump on this with me? Please send me a request. I hope I didn't miss any requests. But please send me a request. I would love to host somebody and ask you about your business and walk in and talk with you about it. And you can feel free to ask me questions and we can talk about this live, right? We can talk about live strategies, things that you can do to really hopefully get more clients or make your revenue more stable, right? Because that's something we're all thinking about during this COVID-19. I know that's been a big issue for a lot of people. So feel free to send a request and we can ask questions. I hope I get one brave soul at least this time. Now, a few other things, right? Let me jump into this. Oh, so on a branding question, what's the most important factor in branding? Is it quality, speed, price? I would say it depends. You pick this from a strategy point. I'm going to tell somebody you're picking that based on where you feel you can compete best and what's most likely to bring the highest income to your company over the long haul, right? So are you going to compete on quality? Are you going to be better positioned to compete on that in the long haul? And would more people want quality during the long haul? Do more people want speed? Excuse me. Do more people want speed during the long haul? So you have to think about that as well, right? Or is it price? Now, a lot of people, it says my video is not working. Can everybody, am I moving? Can people, video working now? I hope we're not having technical difficulties again, but this time I'm not on a Wi-Fi, I'm actually in a different location. Okay, it says yes. All right, my video's working now. So, where was I? So I would say, please, please, please do not try to compete on price. Don't try to be the cheapest person because there's always going to be a way to undercut you. Thank you very much, everybody. And please ask questions. Please ask questions. I'll keep on going down this list, but I also want to ask questions for the people who are in here. Thank you, Clack Designs. How you doing, guys? I really want to answer questions live, right? So I think price is a really hard thing to compete on. It's about economies of scale there, right? You have to have manufacturing set up. You have to have distribution, right? And it's a race to the bottom. So I'll say, please don't compete on price. I know people always argue, yeah, but nobody wants to pay your price. Believe me, people do. In fact, what I find actually when I increase my clients' prices, they actually get more customers, right? Because some people want to spend more money, right? You can think about it like this. Think about luxury items, right? Hermes or whatever. Like a lot of people buy the fake bags, right? But when they get into real money, they go and buy the real bag. And the reason why it makes them feel good that they can actually buy the thing, even though they can get something that looks almost the same, that is fake and knockoff. They want to go. People actually want to spend money sometimes, and I know that's crazy thinking, but believe me, there's a lot of money at the top of the market. So I think one of the things that we need to do as black businesses is be ready to charge premium prices, right? Don't undercut yourself. The thing is, it's about making sure people truly understand your value or going where you're appreciated. And that even dovetails into another. Who should I target as my first clients, right? So the people who have the strongest need for your product, right? You're trying to figure out who needs this right now and it hurts so much or they want it so much they're going to pay right now. So focusing on that and realizing your friends are not your clients, right? Your friends are not your clients. So don't get too frustrated or upset or disappointed when your friends don't buy your product because they're not your target market. You want to figure out who's your target market and go after them. Spend your time on those people because that's the people who truly want your service and that's the people who give you good feedback and that's the people who will help you continue your business. Don't try to think your friends are the world. It's actually you're getting a tiny sliver of the market and you're focusing on that. The people with the most pain, whether the pain is they want more quality, the pain they want it to be arrive faster, right? How many people sign up for Amazon because it has 2 day to when they went to 1 day shipping? People like that's amazing, right? So figuring out what type of people want that and focusing on them. That's what I would say. So, wow, everybody's quiet today. Come on, you guys got to give me some more questions, or I'm going to keep on having a look down here. Let me see which one's a good one. Oh, okay, some good tools, good tools. So one tool that really suggest, and this is more of a customer's, this is more if you have a service-based business than a product-based business. So if you're a therapist or something that requires your time and people to schedule appointments, I highly suggest Calendly. It's a great product in terms of it allows you to have send out a link. People can automatically schedule themselves and it fits into your calendar. It saves you a ton of time. So I said, and I believe it was created by it's black owned too. I believe Calendly is black owned. So I suggest I'm not getting any promotion from this, but I'm really trying to get. I think that's an amazing tool. Will help you save a ton of time, and I believe it's free to start off with. You can start off free. Okay, Adam, what's the best way to market yourself? I'm an artist and a designer. Okay. So, what type of artist are you, and what type of design? Like, what do you create? Tell me a little bit more about your designs, and I'll be able to answer that question a little because every artist is different, right? And there's no cookie cutter way. So I want to really go as in depth as I would with clients in this short amount of time with you. So please feel free to elaborate. How you doing, Soul Popcorn? Glad you can join. So where was I? I forgot my last thing that I was on. Yes, Calendly. I would later.com. That's a great place for scheduling, and I think they partnered with Instagram so you can push your content on there automatically, which was a frustrating thing. I remember in the past having to do that with VAs. That's virtual assistants to do that because if you wanted to post something at a specific time, you could only do it manually versus other places which allow you to integrate with Hootsuite and all these other things. That's what I would say. So I haven't seen Adam respond on the question. Okay, so I believe I answered this question in the last IG video too for a different design artist, but I love it. So one of the things you want, I paint and have a clothing line. Okay, so I would need a little bit more description, like what are you, graphic designer with a focus on branding? All right, so Adam is saying I'm a graphic designer with a focus on branding. I also create original artwork and sell art prints. My artwork focuses on my Black experience. Great. So what are you going to do there? I'm going to think, if I was you, I would ask what type of budget you have, right? What type of budget and what type of time frame are you looking for? What's the price point of your articles, of your artwork? And then I'll say, if I was you or Clack Designs, what I would do, I would start doing collaborations, right? Because you're trying to, it's about prestige and it's about notoriety, right? And being an artist. People don't just want the art, they do, but they also want the name that made the art, right? It's the artist is as important as the artwork, if not more, right? Think about if you slap Mango on something that looks ridiculous, people will still buy it and spend $500,000 on it, right? Because it's Van Gogh. So I would like you. I think that one of the best things to do as artists, especially if you don't have a big budget to begin with, is collaborations and collaborations with. I would go to, and if you're focusing on, I believe you said the Black experience, I would connect with Black media companies, uh, Black artists, things like that, and start working with them to create something like that. All right. So I have a live request. I'm going to go on. All right. And so that's what I would suggest. I would suggest doing that, doing collaborations, uh, and and starting to create viral products. So how you doing, Bocho?
Hey,
Hi, Sasha.
hi.
How you both doing?
Good, good.
Good. Awesome.
Yes.
I like the pro. I like that.
Thank you.
You're welcome. You're welcome. Yeah. So what's going on?
I'm great. I was just finding your live webinars very interesting because it's helping me of how to market and brand my business.
Oh, it's my pleasure. I'm glad you're enjoying it. Tell the people more about what you're doing. Like you've been all over the
My
news.
name is Abocho Peters. I'm an 11-year-old entrepreneur, and I sell affordable clothes and shoes from newborns to 12 years old to help families save money for their children's college fund.
That's
But
awesome.
we're rebranding that now because of everything that happened.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So talk a little. So how's that rebrand going?
It's going great. Now I'm just trying to help families survive in the times we're living in, and help them revolve and help them stay safe. Well, the mask is one part of it, and I'm gonna create different ways to help families in the community to stay safe through the times we're living in.
Oh, that's amazing. Do you have any of your masks to show us? And while you're doing that, because you're so humble, I'm going to shout you out. Abocho has been featured on The View. He's been featured on almost every major news network. He's been featured in Japan, Brazil, so many different countries and on different networks. But him and his mom are super humble. So these two are amazing.
Okay, so I still have my mask that I'm selling here, and I have a lot that I sell to the community, handmade from me and my mom, and I try to sell as much as I can. I promote them on Instagram and my website, and then families, if they're close enough, they pick up, and we ship throughout the whole entire world.
Awesome. Awesome.
Thank you.
Yeah, so please look them up, Abocho Peters. Abocho Peters on Instagram, and amazing person. His mom is amazing, super brilliant. Super brilliant.
Thank you.
And I love them. I love them. They're doing great things, and he really has a heart for the community. So thank you so much for
You're
tuning
welcome.
in. And
We have a quick question while
Sure.
we're on here. So Abocho doesn't really focus on, because he owns the children's thrift store, he doesn't really focus on selling the clothes. You know, we've had that conversation about that. His focus more is just in promoting the fact that he's helping the community in many different ways. It just so happened that the thrift store is the base of what he's doing right now. Is that a good strategy?
so say that one more time for me. So I was typing out the name so people can see it.
Okay. Abocho's focus is not really on the clothes that he's using his thrift store that he opened up to serve the community. His focus is on just helping and serving and educating the community financially. The clothes is something that he has to offer the community to help them save money. Is that a good strategy?
So strategies are determined on whether they're good or not by GST, right? You know I've said GST to you. So I have this framework of what I take people through. Before you think about your strategy, you have to think about your goal, right? So what's your goal? Because if you work other, you don't want the tail wagging the dog. So what's your goal? If your goal is X, then you have to create a strategy that helps you create the outcome of X, right? And pick the best strategy that helps you create the outcome of X. So my thing is, whether or not you want to share your goal on that here, I won't push you on that. But my question is to you: is that strategy financial education and financial empowerment and seminars and webinars getting you closer to your goal than the strategy of pushing the thrift store? That's my question to you.
The strategies on.
That's the goal. That's the main thing.
So tell them what the goal is.
Right,
Right, it's financial freedom.
Financial freedom. So if we're going for there, I would say yes, that strategy is better. The reason why I say so this is something important for everyone. And I know I saw somebody else had a question. I'm going to get to you, doctor, again. But I saw somebody else had a question. So one of the things in marketing and something you should never take for granted or compare yourself with other entrepreneurs is because people may post, oh, they're getting X revenue, Y revenue, they're making $10,000 in revenue every day. Revenue is not profit, right? Revenue is not profit. And so why I say that is you want to focus on selling something that's going to increase your profit. Either the short term or the long term, right? You can take losses in the short term, but you don't want those losses to extend too far. So I would say that strategy is better because with a thrift store, you have a large overhead and your underlying prices, especially yours, you're really doing this for the community at those prices. Those prices are not profit prices. You're really doing it for the community. And so it's unattainable as a business model, right? And no matter how much, the more coverage you get, it's going to you have to operate on a national scale or actually a statewide scale to even start hitting profitability, focusing on that business model, right? So state versus going into webinars, speeches, lectures, things like that. You don't have to have a storefront. You don't have to have a lot of the overhead, and therefore everything that's coming, well, most of what's coming in is profit, right? So you become more profitable. And what you don't want to do is you don't want to be in the red all the time because that puts up so much pressure on you, right? So I would say, yeah, that's a better strategy in terms of focusing on it. And you can use the bookstore as more of it. It's a write-off, right? And it can help increase your publicity, all right? If you continue doing that, all right?
Thank you.
My pleasure. Thanks for jumping on.
All right, no problem.
All right. So I'm gonna
See you later.
around. See you later. I'm gonna stick around for a little bit more. Does anybody else want to jump on as I jump back to Doctor's question? So, Doctor, how do you work with influences of color? So this is the thing, right? People, what you want to do is you don't want to jump to the top, right? People always want to jump to the top. That I'm giving you the tools right now. I'm not holding anything back. You don't want to jump to the top. What you want to do is aim at micro influencers, right? Aim at people with 1,000 followers, 500, 2,000, 3,000, smaller fish. And you want to build your profile that way and just do 10 things with them, right? And then you bump it up a little bit, then do 10 more things with the people at the next level. You keep on bumping and you keep on bumping till you get up to that level. Because the people who have less followers, less people are clamoring to collaborate with them. So it's easier. So you want to go and focus on doing that type of work, right? As I said, I'm going to be real. I'm going to give you everything here. I really want to empower us Black businesses. That's what you want to do, right? You want to focus on targeting people with smaller following, but are influencers in their own right, and do some collaborations with them, and then keep growing that way. And the beautiful thing about that is you're going to get your practice in as well of being able how to speak, how to present yourself, how to respond to questions, right? How to collaborate, what things to negotiate for. So that's what I would say. Start doing it with smaller people and then create a roadmap. So eventually that will lead you to the person you want to connect with. All right. And micro influencers have a lot of actually power because people who tend to follow them are dedicated because they're focusing more on a niche thing, and that's either they're before they're about to blow up, or their focus is so niche they can't really grow that much, but their followers are more intense because they're speaking directly to them, right? The larger you're following, your message gets a bit more diluted, right? Because it's more palpable to the masses. So that's what I would say. All right. So do we have any more questions on this? But as I'm wrapping up and getting ready to jump out of this. And yeah, so I've enjoyed this. I don't know if I will do another one because I have to focus on my business and stuff like that. But I definitely would love to keep in contact with you all, connect. Feel free to send me messages and stuff like that. And I'll be posting. Oh, my pleasure, Doctor. And I'll be posting more in there. And Doctor, what do you do? Let the people know. This is whenever you're on, please promote yourself. Let the people know. All right. What's your business? What are you doing? Okay. I would love to collaborate with some people. I know my guy Barack. We're gonna do a collaboration. Definitely going to do one with John. John, we're definitely going to do a legal collaboration or something like that, and get out and talk to people and like help. And Curtis careers, we are going to do something on careers and life skills and things like that. But I really wanted to get out here. I know there's a lot going on in this time. It's stressful. Even before everything happened with our brother being need, it was already a stressful period, right? And we already knew things like that was going on. So I really wanted to do in terms of my team. I've been driving them crazy. We're pushing them to do this. So thank you so much to Irene, to Gabe, to Annika, to Gabby for helping me put this together for everyone and who's going to help us put this on replay and do what's needed. But I know a lot is going on, and I wanted to hopefully help out by giving some tips and allowing you to ask questions, right? That usually you have to pay for. So hopefully, I just wanted you to give you a space so you can be heard, ask your questions, and hopefully get closer to your goal. Uh, and so, Doctor is a internist focusing on acne, anti-aging, hyperpigmentation, and women's intimate health. All right. So anybody needs that, go check out Dr. DMD. All right. Oh, it's my pleasure. So pop popcorn. Can't wait to hopefully I love popcorn. So I'm gonna have to when things get warmer and we can walk outside, I'm definitely gonna have to stop by your place. And we have to support each other. We have to support each other, right? We have to support each other. So please feel free to stay connected. Keep me updated on what you're doing. There'll be a bunch of stuff that I'm doing, so you can. We're going to typically with my, and I'm not going to talk about my business too much, but typically with my business, I used to do a lot of white label. I do a lot of white label, so I don't post much. But now my team, we want to give people more information. So if you check out our Instagram during the next month or two, we're going to be posting a lot more quality tips on there. We're going to be giving some breakdowns on some marketing and branding advice. And also on the YouTube channel, Ataande Business Media, we will be, so if you check out my last name, Ataande Business Media, we will also be posting some more branding, marketing, and general business tips. All right. Soul Food Popcorn, yes. So you're welcome. It was my pleasure to speak with all of you. Thank you for tuning in. Please share this. Please share this with whoever you think will benefit from that. Even if I know I have people in other time zones who wish they can check, but they were in Switzerland and other places. So please share. The only way we can truly get to, we have to give more of our people economic empowerment, right? So they can collaborate with us and they can help us and they can invest in us and we can invest in them, things like that. All right. Okay. So you have a suggestion, please, I need them. I took a lot of suggestions from my last one. So I think this ran a little bit better. Thank you, Jasmine, for the suggestions. But what's your suggestion? Thank you so much. My pleasure, Love Angel Cosmetics. What's your suggestion? So as I wait for a suggestion, as I said, please feel free to. How you doing, Brennan? Brennan, we went to law school together. How you doing? I hope you're doing well. Good to see you in here. Uh, once again thank you, Jasmine, for all the suggestions and helping me improve this, and I am truly grateful for all the gratitude I'm seeing in the chat. Everybody that's following, everybody that's tuning in. As I said, we all have to rise together. So I'm hoping to see this suggestion so I can log off and get ready for tomorrow and look at some things me and my team is doing. All right. Beam you in. You have to request. You have to request a. Okay, here I can request you. I'm requesting that you connect. Okay. How you
Hi.
doing? Hello.
Okay, so just really quickly, because I know everybody needs to go. I'm DJ. I'm in Austin, Texas. Soul Food Popcorn, Soul Pop Popcorn.
Okay.
I think that something that's really critical to our community, our business community,
Mm-hmm.
is understanding how to talk about brand narratives, how to create a brand narrative, and storytelling, and
Mm-hmm.
how important that is to building a brand that sticks.
Okay.
I'm happy to say that Soul Pop is an award-winning brand, and
Yes.
we've been recognized for our logo, our packaging, and our story, and we're really we're on the rise. Of course, there's always more to do, but to tell that from an African American perspective, because our story narratives are just different
Yes.
than a lot of the white businesses, but the people who are training about storytelling always seem to be non-melanated people. So I think that it would be, I was very polite in saying that, wasn't I?
You are very, very politically correct.
It would be really awesome. I look so rough, but I'm producing, so y'all have to forgive me.
No, you look
For
great.
you to create a narrative specifically for businesses of color to tell their brand story and create their brand narratives to go along with their branding profiles. So that's my
Okay.
suggestion.
All right, we'll do. You're gonna hold me to that. I will do that. And how
I'm
about
going to
this?
pray you through it.
Amen. Amen. Yes, because God's the only one who can do it. Believe me. Uh, so this is what I want to do, though. I would love to get on with you and let's talk. Let's tell people about how you created your brand and things like that. And then I'll give some tips as well. And me and my team will create something. We'll create something that focuses on Black businesses, how to brand. Because actually, that's been on my heart. I'm glad you brought that up. That's been on my heart because I know, like I say, I do white label. These companies that are paying me 5 to 6 figures to do this, right? Unfortunately, our community doesn't have that capital, right, to do that. And so there's limits to that. So I would love to create something or work to create something that works so smaller businesses can create a brand and create a story that competes and that translates, right, across state lines, across city lines, across nation lines. And I think that's super important. So thank you. Actually, we're gonna get to working on that. That's an amazing idea. I think that's important because we have such beautiful stories, right? Such
Yes.
beautiful stories. We just have to learn how to package them, to put them together, and how to promote them. So I think that's a great insight. Thank you for jumping on. You see, I'm glad we didn't go off before you got to say this.
Yeah, I was listening and I was like hoping that I would hear you talk about those things. And I'm thankful that you gave me the opportunity to share that recommendation because I know it's in your wheelhouse. You know how to do it. And I'm just excited to see what you come up with
Yes,
for the
yes, sir.
community.
I'm gonna
Because you could
get on
really
it.
own that space. I've never seen a Black owned, like a consultant that does that type of storytelling
Yep.
for businesses.
Mm-hmm.
Always white guys.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I'm just
I
saying.
got you. I got you.
Okay,
We're
well,
gonna
I
do.
won't hold you because I know everybody's been done, but I've enjoyed this,
My pleasure.
and I look forward to just being involved in the community any way that I can.
Yes,
And we're all in this together, right?
we are. Exactly. Exactly. Thank you so much. God
And I
bless you.
saw somebody that said they're in Austin too, so reach out to me.
Yes, I think it was Love Angel Cosmetics. So you too,
Yes, reach out to
so
me, sis.
soul food popcorn, soul popcorn. You guys got to
So
connect.
we have banana pudding, chicken and waffles, macaroni and cheese, Austin smoked barbecue, sourdough pickle, buttered corn off the cob, and Big Mama's fried chicken.
Ooh,
Except for
okay.
they're all vegetarian and or vegan, and it's made with 100% premium all natural ingredients.
Mm. All right, so now I know what to do when I go to Austin. I know what to do when
Come
I go
see
to
me.
Austin. Yes.
There's so much to do in Austin, and we're a big CPG community.
Mm-hmm.
Um, CPG, consumer packaged goods. I think everybody on here would know that, but just in case.
Exactly.
And it's really a thriving community, but the Black CPG community is struggling. I mean, it's just not a lot of support.
Mm-hmm.
So I went through an all-white food accelerator. I was the first Black to go through it, called SKU.
Congrats. Uh-huh.
And I learned what I needed to learn going through that accelerator.
Mm-hmm.
But not everybody, especially in our community, can do that because of the time commitment
Mm-hmm.
and the money, because you
Exactly.
can't work. You got to
Exactly.
be in class.
Exactly.
But I was fortunately in a position I was able to do it.
Yeah, and so everybody knows what an accelerator is. So an accelerator is a place there's two levels. There's incubators, which are for when you're first starting your company and you're trying to figure out, get your feet under you. Think about it like a premature baby. You guys know most of your companies are premature babies. Let's be real. A lot of companies are premature babies, and it's hard, and it's not, the world's not safe, and so that's to help you get fully formed, right? And hopefully standing on your own feet. An accelerator is kind of like when you have your legs under you, and it's about launching 3 to 10x your size, right? It's about helping you triple to 10x your production, your brand, your sales, your revenue, things like that. So that's what accelerator is for. They have different. Usually, there's a lot of training that's involved, and you have certain metrics that you're supposed to hit, and advisors that are attached to that. So that's what an accelerator is. There's plenty of platforms to check. What is it? F69 is, I think, FS9. I forget. Angel.co.
F6, yeah,
F6S? Is it F6S?
F6S,
Yes, F6S. Angel.co. There's tons of, so look up the.
SKU, SKU,
Mm-hmm.
SKU. Now, one thing for the community, I got in an accelerator when my company was only 6 months old.
Wow. That's
Don't make that mistake.
wow.
Don't do that. That was like, if my brand wasn't as strong as it was,
Mm-hmm.
I wouldn't have made it.
Mm-hmm.
It was just the grace of God that I had a product that was differentiated enough
Yeah. Huh.
that
That's
it was
important.
able to
That's important.
survive being pushed into an accelerator before I was really ready to be there. I should have been in an incubator,
Mm-hmm.
but they wanted me in there. They wanted my product, and I didn't know what I didn't know. But by the time I was halfway through, I figured it out,
Mm-hmm.
and I was able to kind of pivot and survive. So I do encourage people, don't skip steps. Like if I had to go back and do it over again, I would not. I didn't know better. I didn't do it on purpose. I didn't understand that there was a such thing called an incubator.
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't understand the difference between an incubator and an accelerator.
Mm-hmm.
So I just encourage everybody listening, if you can get into a good incubator program, or let's start our own. That's really where my heart is, to start our own incubator, teach you the fundamentals of doing business, because they are important skills to get,
Mm-hmm.
and then help you scale so that you are really ready to accelerate and go to the next level.
Exactly.
I
Exactly.
think I just took over your live, so I'm going to stop
Hey,
now.
hey, this is collaborative. It's not about me, it's about the community. So I love it. We're going to have to do another one, me and you. All right.
Anytime. Thank you for letting me come on, and
My
for
pleasure.
everybody that listened, thank you for the time and attention.
All right. God bless everybody.
Everybody be blessed.
Have a good night.
Okay, bye-bye.
Bye bye. Have a good night. It was a pleasure checking in. Feel free to connect with me, and hopefully, I see you do immense success. And part of the journey is failure. So don't like try to hide. I see people. I have to grab my friends who are entrepreneurs, or people who I've helped and advised in the past. Like I used to do a lot of free webinars and seminars for people, and like ask them what's going on, and they shy away from me. No, there's so many. It's about failure. The road is full of many failures. It's like 9 or 10 times you'll fail at first. or even second or third try, right? So I'm here to support you. Don't shy away. It's part of the process is learning. So God bless. Have a good one. And I look forward to seeing you. How you doing, Bulletproof Fitness? Have a good one, everyone. Later.